There was a guy that I was talking to at the coffee and networking thing the other day, and he was saying he's in Iowa. He was like the BIM manager for this large firm in Iowa, and I think he said he came from, where did he come from? And he was like blown away what you can get in Iowa for the
Yeah.
same. And so there was another guy who works at Walter P. Moore Engineers, and he lives in DC, so he's pretty close to you. And he was
Yeah.
like, you can't believe how much it costs if you want to live within 30 minutes of your office, right? He's like,
Yeah.
he was just, because he came from a cheaper area and he moved there, and he was just like, from school, right? He was like, $9,000. It would cost me $9,000 a year to live where I used to live. He's like, now, he's like, that doesn't get you
Nine
very
thousand
far.
nine
Right?
thousand dollars may get him through 2.5 months.
Exactly. And he was just like, what the heck? Right. Like, and so he's like, that other guy's like, you need to come to Iowa, dude. You can come to Iowa. He's like, $9,000 a year. Like that may not hold up. He goes, but $4,500 a month. He's like, you could have an 8-bedroom house.
hmm Yeah.
And if you could work from anywhere now, like maybe you should, and go be happy. Right.
Yeah. And to be quite honest with you, I kind of hope that that's where the profession is going to go. Is you can work for these larger companies that you found a home at. You found that this is the place that you want to work for, but because of the climate of the profession, you can actually live somewhere else.
I hope it actually changes those laws that we talked about in that one episode, right? We were talking about
Oh,
how
yeah.
you've actually would have to have your company would have to have a business license in the state for you to actually be an employee that lives in that state. I hope that kind of changes based on this
Yeah,
to
because
enable that to happen.
think about like what we talked about is you lost people who wanted to move to have a better life, a more affordable life, probably closer to family and things like that,
Right.
but couldn't continue to work for you because of that law.
Yeah. Yeah. And they wanted to, and the company wanted to retain them as well. And so it was mutual. It wasn't like nobody used it as an excuse to part ways. It was like, how can we make this work? And it would total handcuffs the whole time.
And that just sucks too, because, we always talk about how expensive it is I mean, there are people who have left our firm to, move closer to family. They're starting the family out and they move closer to a family. We had to lose them because they didn't have the option of being able to continue to work for us.
Yeah.
And that just sucks because they're good people who provide value to our company.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have to not only find somebody who is experientially the same as them, but also need to like train them in,
ways.
like
Yeah.
the ways of the company.
Yeah. And that's expensive for sure.
And time consuming. And any of these, like the biggest profit hog on any project is change.
I love it. Well, yeah, change to scope, change to leadership in the client side, change to your
Right.
staff.
Right.
Totally. Yeah, you're right.
And so like, when things like that, I mean, we've had people who've left the firm on this particular project that were great people, needed their experience, needed their understanding of the particular project. Because, I mean, I don't know how much I've said it, but I mean, I've talked about this project is a tough project because there's a lot of facets to it that aren't common, aren't usual.
Mm-hmm.
And so once you really get into the meat of the project and understand the project and understand what's going on with the project, it's a blow to lose somebody.
Right.
And so when they move away and they can't be retained because of these state laws and things like that don't allow you to continue to keep working for the firm, that sucks, man.
I was talking to one of my team members the other day, I guess just yesterday, and he was telling me some crazy, and I can't remember what it was, some crazy statistic about how many people are planning on moving. And,
Yeah.
And it is happening everywhere. And what's interesting to me is it's happening and nobody knows about it, right? Like all of a sudden someone's like, it has a new backdrop. You're like, where are you? You're like, well, I moved. And you're like, holy crap. I haven't talked to you in like a month, and you're in a new. I can't tell you how many people that's happened to me with. So it's happening everywhere. It was a huge, shocking number. It was like, yeah, I can't remember, but it was very interesting to hear that because there's tons of opportunity. Obviously, people are making adjustments, tons of adjustments that they probably would not have had the time to make because it just would have. It's not even on their radar. But now that you're in a different kind of scene every day, and you're looking around you, and you're like, you start thinking about that kind of stuff. Where could I go? Where could I be? And what's interesting is like the weird little hiccups that come out of this, right? Like the one that we talked about with Garrett, where he moved to Colorado, and it was like all of a sudden you can't work for the company anymore. I mean, they knew it in advance. They knew it actually before he moved, but they thought they were going to be able to make it work, and ultimately they weren't. And now, like, I'm hearing from people who are like, I moved to a different region in the same state. Obviously, California is a big state, right? Well, the healthcare that you had is no longer applicable, and we didn't catch that. And so now what, right?
Yeah.
And it like they're giving him some BS about missing a deadline of like 30 days or whatever. And it's like, and then he's hearing from other people, there's no deadline. What are you talking about? So weird stuff that are stressing people out, like talking about mental health. Like this is an additional stress now because I'm sure HR departments are kind of like fielding tons of this crap all the time in larger companies, right? Where people are moving around, making adjustments and having to deal with all of this stuff. It's got to be weird. Like would not have even crossed my mind that your healthcare would have to change moving in the same state, but just because it's so regionally based that all of a sudden this wrench shows up.
Yeah. The thing about it is that, you're right. It a lot of times, most of the reasons and rationales of why people are moving aren't, because, I really hate this job. It's mental health related.
Or it's family. Get closer to family.
I mean, I consider that mental health related, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just, it's kind of a bummer that, and again, like I say, I hope that this particular profession can get past that. And then we start to demand more out of some of these like state laws that allow for people to actually work within firms that, say Evan decides that he wants to go live in Colorado, but he wants to stay at HMC. Well, let's petition the state assemblies to pass these laws so that you can do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see where they're coming from, right? Like they're collecting state income tax based on the company that you work for, in that state. But it does seem like there could be a way to still base it on where the company is physically located, but it's so like this interstate relationships that are becoming more and more. They're just happening more and more. There's got to be some way to work that out.
It all comes down to the dollar.
It does. It always comes back to where the money's flowing, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's got to be like really hard on the businesses too, and in a time when so many businesses are dying. That the states really do have to kind of modernize the way that they think about how they collect taxes from business, because so many more businesses are going online, which don't follow any kind of state boundary, right?
Right.
And now so many companies are going under that actually have physical locations, and there's got to be a huge loss in revenue there. And it seems like, everybody's kind of feeling like entitled to the way things were. And I've even talked about this in some of the lectures that I've given about future technologies that people need to be on the lookout for, like autonomous vehicles, right? It's like, what is your city going to do when there's no more need for parking? What is your city going to do when they can't, your local police force can't ticket people for overnight parking in the wrong place because they're not parking there anymore? Like you're not entitled to this revenue that you generate this way right now.
Or hell, because autonomous vehicles are going to be programmed to follow the letter of the law. So there's no more running a red light. There's no more speeding. There's no more reckless driving.
Well,
and
look
all
at what's going to happen with
generate revenue from.
Yeah, and look at insurance, right? Like insurance is going to have to change. The whole business of insurance has to change. You're not going to need gas stations on every corner anymore because everything's going to be electric. Right. And you're not going to collect those taxes either, right? So like you can't continue to operate under the assumption that those funds will always be there because that's how you do it now or have done it in the past for decades, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, decades are nothing. They're blips. And now we're looking at change faster than change has ever happened before. And there are tens of thousands of people working on the autonomous vehicle problem. How many people in your city are working on this issue?
Oh,
You could probably count them on one hand, if that.
Oh, maybe not necessarily this city, because remember, it's
You're
where
big.
we do a lot of policy
That's
for
true. Yeah,
the rest of the cities.
But in my town, I bet it's like negligible. There might be one person
But even like, the advancements in mass transit and things like that as well.
that nobody uses. Yeah.
That
Maybe now
sure.
they're back to using it, kind of. But.
Is interesting. Yes, I mean ridership obviously slowed during like the lockdown phases and things like that, but
It's back. Yeah.
it's back.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, especially when we start to see some numbers rising. But anyway, it's interesting. That's taking the concept even further, and then even I was thinking about just being a little bit selfish about well, what the hell if I want to move,
Right? Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to change jobs. I just might want to find a better, easier place to live that's closer to family, and I couldn't.
Maybe cost a little bit less or whatever. Yeah, there could be many reasons to make those adjustments for sure. Like I've got how many cars sit in the driveway that I don't use? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of those, right? I'm going to change my insurance. I'm going to save some money there. Oh wow, what if I moved? I could save a lot.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And I could have a beautiful view out my window instead of looking out this whatever, right? And why should that be totally off the table? It shouldn't be. Yeah.
What is that road? That's that big, massive road right next to your house. Not next to your house, but
Yeah. Actually, what's crazy with that right now is it's like there's a house between me and the road, and it's a major thoroughfare. They actually call it a highway, but it's not. It's not really. It used to be. Now it's kind of just like a main artery, but they're tearing it up and putting a bunch of stuff under bunch of pipes and stuff, and it was like. Every day now, large vehicles drive down that road. There's this major, it feels like earthquakes over and over and over all day long because they've got those giant metal plates covering up their holes. And these trucks go driving down and like boom, 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 boom. And it's so disruptive, right? And it's taking months for them to do this. And it sucks, man. It's like all of a sudden having a jackhammer go off every day at various random times because there's these giant vehicles rumbling over these plates. It just, it's brutal. Yeah, and it's just like, I don't want to live right here, right now, for sure. I want to.
Well, we have that stuff going on now, but I will say this is honestly the time to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot less cars on the road.
A lot less cars on the road, a lot less personal inconvenience to you, Karen.
I saw that there's some guy who has a TikTok where he's just constantly apologizing for his wife, Karen. And it's so funny because he basically fabricates these events where Karen did something and he goes to apologize for it. And it's super funny.
Well, you know what? I had texted a buddy of mine this morning. I was like, oh, man. He's like, I'm assuming you're talking about Sean Connery. I'm like, yeah. And
that's what you call him?
No. Sean Connery is passed away this morning.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, broke the news. Sean Connery passed
breaking
away.
News.
Yeah, and so he was just like, Lazenby is now our oldest living Bond. I was like, yeah. Whoa. I was like, most people forget about Lazenby. I was like, even though for some reason I actually liked that.
That was a good one. Yeah, I agree.
And he's like, he goes, it's one of the best stories. He goes, he's not the worst actor. He was just new, and then he lied about his experience.
Right.
And that was one of the reasons why he only had one movie. He didn't get any other movies. It's like, right. It's like we don't lie a little bit to land a job.
Yeah.
And it's funny that, we were talking about something similar about, people who really want a job or really want something and they're like kind of embellished and it's living up to it. I thought Her Majesty's Secret Service was not a bad flick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, my dad was a big Bond fan,
Uh-huh.
and so we watched all of the Bond movies. And I honestly thought that, and I know that this seems to be sacrilegious to a lot of people, but I actually really did not like the whatchamacallit, Roger Moore.
Oh, you
ones.
can't poop on the Roger Moore because that was when I was growing up. Like he was the
Yeah.
Bond.
So
he's definitely like this fun
yeah.
playboy kind of a dude.
Yeah. So that was my Bond as well. I also grew up watching, like
Yeah.
all of the Connery movies.
I got into those on my own. My dad was never into the Bond stuff, but I enjoy all of them for different reasons, for sure.
He also really liked. Did you ever watch the TV series Prisoner?
No.
Oh, you got to check that out. It's a quirky British. I think you'd actually enjoy it. It's called The Prisoner, and it's kind of like psychological TV series. It's just kind of, it's crazy cool.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I always had like this issue with just the extra helping of cheddar that was always applied to like 70s movies.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh man.
Yep.
It's just like, we think about this, it's just like, I remember like the mystique of Death Race 2000. And then I go back and I watch Death Race 2000. You just, God, this sucked.
Yes.
It's just like, I really thought that this was like, like scary thriller chase kind of crazy movie. And then you just like,
Kind of
nah.
cringy.
Yeah. There are, although it was also, we just watched the other day, The Car.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, so it is another 70. It was 77 actually, and it was with James Brolin, and he was the town sheriff, and there was a car, a driverless car.
Oh, this is like Spielberg's.
Yeah,
yeah, that was a good. I watched that. That was pretty good.
Yes, actually, and so
I can't remember the name, but it was good.
I think this was the cheesier version. Or this was the lower budget version than Spielberg's.
Yeah.
Or Driven or just something like that. We were just looking it up the other day because we were talking about it, and I liked that one. I saw both of those movies. Funny enough, I saw both of those movies in the drive-in. Where, Duel. Yeah,
71.
Duel.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, so it was the devil driving the car, kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
And it was, and so like we watched it, because I remember that this movie scared me. Magdalena's sitting there, and she's, not quite 13 yet, and so she's sitting there, she's looking at us like, the hell is wrong with you people? This is like
this is terrible,
horrible movie.
The movie critic.